Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 1997 action thriller Switchback, a film that is written and directed by Jeb Stewart, and it stars Dennis Quaid, Danny Glover, R. Lee Ermey, Walter Goggins, Ted Levine and Jared Leto. Yes, that Jared Leto. Now, I'm starting a new film series, if you like. Now, I did experiment with this a couple of years ago with some movies, and if you go back far enough in my movie playlist, you'll be able to see some movies, basically with the title "Movies I Missed" sort of thing. Well, this is a bit similar to that. I'm wanting to kind of shine the light on movies that you may have missed, essentially. So this is a film from 1997 that I very rarely hear anybody talk about, Switchback. And it's a film I hadn't heard until I finally watched this. Oh, it was a good few years ago, and it was the first time I saw it was on TV. Quite a late night showing on TV, and I remember watching it and really enjoying it. Kind of forgot about it. And I've been reminded of it a few times over the years. And I've watched it probably 2 or 3 times now, and I've rewatched it for this review. And it's a film that really stands up, and it's really actually quite good. So what is this film about? Well, this film focuses on Dennis Quaid's character, who is called Frank Lacrosse. He's an FBI agent. Now, he's been tracking down a serial killer for nearly 2 years. And he was getting closer and closer to this serial killer until the serial killer took his son. Basically just took his son hostage, because he knew that if he did that, it would take Dennis Quaid's character out of the equation. They'd have to take him off the case and things like that. And then everything went quiet for months. And then some killings start taking place again, and he ends up going on the trail again, Dennis Quaid's character. Now, in tandem to this, there is Jared Leto's character and Danny Glover's character. Now, Jared Leto is like a wanderer. He's hitchhiking. He gets a lift off Danny Glover's character. Seems really friendly. Where they're going, basically, everybody knows and loves Danny Glover. Bob is called. He's really helpful. He's really friendly. Everybody loves him. And him and Jared Leto, they start becoming friends, sort of thing. They get into a few escapades along the way on this road trip. And then you realise that their trip is tied in with Dennis Quaid's pursuit. And that's really all I want to say about the story here. Because if you do intend on watching this film, obviously I don't want to spoil it. Right, so, Switchback. Why should you watch Switchback? Well, first of all, look at this cast. We've got Dennis Quaid, who I think is one of the most underrated actors of all time. Danny Glover, you could almost put him in the same bracket as Dennis Quaid. Two brilliant actors. R. Lee Ermey, brilliant character actor. An early screen performance from Walter Goggins. We've got Ted Levine, William Fincher, and again, Jared Leto. You have to kind of blink and rub your eyes a couple of times and to look and think, that's Jared Leto. He's almost unrecognisable as this obviously much younger, like, pretty boy. But actually, you could see the makings of a good actor even at this stage in his career with Jared Leto. But a much more balanced and conventional performance by him compared to some of his later performances in some of the films that he's acted in. But he's just a really solid action thriller here. You really feel for Dennis Quaid's character. You know, he's desperate, obviously, to try and find out where his son is, and try and track down this serial killer. And you've got R. Lee Ermey's character, who's like the sheriff of this local town, who feels compelled to help him, even though the FBI get in touch and sort of say, right, he's gone off the reservation, basically, Dennis Quaid. We've told him to stop. Can you hold him there, please? Excuse me. Can you hold him? Because we're going to go and bring him. We're bringing him in now. This case is closed, sort of thing. You know, like, you've got to have the FBI bad guys, haven't you? And R. Lee Ermey kind of says, no, I'm going to help him, basically. And that's a really nice relationship, the Dennis Quaid Ali Ermey thing that goes on in the film. That's really nice. There's some really great chemistry between Jared Leto and Danny Glover, these two guys in the car. And it's almost like, do you remember the film Deadly Pursuit? You know, the Tom Berenger, Sidney Poitier film. You know, where they're chasing them through the mountains and things like that. And you know one of them's a killer, but you're not sure who until it's revealed. Well, that's a very similar concept with this film. You know someone's the killer, but you're not sure who until the reveal takes place. And it really helps the film because it builds this, this tangible whodunit feel almost to the film. Like, well, who is the killer? And you're kind of trying to put two and two together. Is it this, or is it this red herring? Are they giving this as a red herring? So that manages to go on until a certain point in the film. But even then, when the reveal takes place, you're still invested because you want Dennis Quaid to catch up to this killer and find out what has happened to his son. So you get a little bit of action near the end of the film, a couple of sporadic moments within the film. It's more of a thriller than an action film, but it does stand on its own 2 feet when it does try to do some action as well. So I think this film, I mean, it completely went under the radar when it was released. I think it made about 6 million worldwide from the research I've done. Didn't do anything. I've tried to look for it on Blu-ray. I can't see a copy. You can get some really expensive DVDs, so it's just literally flown under everybody's radar. And I think it deserves a watch by you guys, especially if you haven't seen it. And I suspect many of you watching this will never have seen, possibly even have heard of this film. And I'm telling you, if you want to watch a really good quality action thriller with some really good performances by some very reliable actors all involved in this film, you could do far worse than putting this on and having a good time with it. I certainly did. I remember the first time I watched it being really surprised and impressed with it. I watched it again a number of years later, and again the same thing. Really enjoyed it, and I've rewatched it again for this review, and it's backed it up, and I thought, yeah, this is a solid film. I would pick this up immediately if I could get it on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I can't find it on Blu-ray. I can't even find it on DVD apart from silly prices. But definitely a solid 8 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you haven't seen it, please don't forget to check it out. And of course, I will be back with plenty more reviews on the channel very, very soon.